And when you are blind, honestly, when you're live, you never know if you are looking quote unquote okay. You don't know if your lipstick it's okay or if you just apply lipstick all over. Honestly, this is the reality when you are blind and you don't know if what you're wearing actually matches with, I don't know, everything else with your earrings and what with the rings that you decided to wear and your hair. You don't know if it looks all, I don't know, poofy. I mean, I don't know. Welcome to Blind with a Vision, where we always have a vision. And the vision for today is actually, well, being able to actually share this topic here on Blind with a Vision. And this segment that I've been having this segment for the longest time on the Clubhouse social platform, and I decided to do this here on my YouTube channel. And the segment is Thriving Blind, right? And under the Thriving Blind segment or topic, we're gonna have all these topics that have to do with the visual disability, with the blindness and visual impaired, right? Let me see if anyone is here. Um, I doubt anyone is going to be sharing. Oh, hi, Margie. Oh, thank you so much, Margie. Anyway, so, welcome to Blind with a Vision, where we always have a vision. And my name is Anna. For anyone that doesn't know, if you happen to click on this video by accident or someone shared this video with you, my name is Anna, and I actually live here in Southern California, diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, and I only have light perception by now. I don't even see shadows anymore. I was able to see kind of the cars passing by, and I was able to see the sidewalk and distinguish the sidewalk from the grass and just I don't know seeing things around. I was able to see my even my guide's big just shape, I guess, about 9 years ago, and just little by little the way it's been for me since I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. I just lost my sight gradually. It was painful. Being able to just see the changes, and by now I only have light perception, so I do miss my low vision. Any side actually helps, and I know that when we are low vision, because I was low vision for several years, I actually used to make a lot of mistakes because when you are low vision, you think you're able to see or you're not. But that low vision actually helps for mobility out there. Now, when you are totally blind and when you are low vision, especially when you're totally blind or you were never able to see, and this is just my opinion, it is difficult to know if you look quote unquote good, whatever that means, right? I actually did a video, I think it was over a year ago or 2 years ago, and I titled this video, How Do We the Blind Know If We Look Okay, right? And my conclusion is that we know that we look okay because we feel good about whatever. Um, Choosing what we want to wear and what we want to, I don't know, whatever we think it is, what makes us feel good. But now the reality, when we're talking about physical appearance and personal hygiene, is one of those topics that is it is very controversial, right? So Anna is going to be sharing this topic from Anna's point of view, right? Being sighted, being 2020, having 2020 vision for several years, and then little by little going through the whole low vision, and now not having any sight. Well, I have my opinions. I've been in the blind community. I have met a lot of people that was born blind. I know a lot of people that is low vision, and I am a psychotherapist. I also have a master's degree in gerontology. So the aging population is one of my favorite populations, right? So I actually do one-on-one individual therapy. I don't share about this a lot, right? But I do have my Blind with a Vision YouTube channel, which is therapy for me. But more than anything, is actually being able to talk to people that is going blind, people that is visually impaired around the world, and they are depressed. I pay a lot of attention through my email and in private, on WhatsApp, on to those people that are actually experiencing vision loss and they're going through the whole grieving process. Right? I know how it is to go blind, and when we are blind, we actually we we have to deal with the consequences of the whole vision loss and the blindness, right? And the consequences of the blindness, um, of course, there are physical limitations, challenges, right? But one of the biggest area in which why we have all these limitations and challenges is because of the mentality of society towards the blindness, towards blind people and visually impaired people, right? So one of those areas is actually physical appearance and personal hygiene, right? So I'm going to be talking about this topic from my point of view, from what I have seen, from what I have learned, and what I experience out there, right? When I have to deal with, I don't know, sighted people out there, and from what everybody shares with me in private. I'm not going to say names, of course. I'm not breaking confidentiality and disclosing personal information, but I will use some of the stories about it. Now, the title that I give this live is what you, your family, and others should know about physical appearance and personal hygiene among people with visual disabilities, among blind people. The whole title didn't fit. We only get 100 characters here on YouTube. So I fit what I could, but that is the idea, right? Now, I am not an expert on fashion and knowing, I have not studied beauty, the standards of beauty around the world. So, physical appearance, what people think right away about the physical appearance is if whether or not you are pretty, beautiful. So we already know that beauty has to do with culture, the standards of beauty that are designed or assigned in whatever place that you come from. Is also assigned by the family, within the family, right? In Mexico, I can tell you that if someone is light skinned and kind of blonde, they call the baby the beautiful baby, the little blonde, beautiful and cute baby. But if the baby is dark, I have a younger brother who is very, very dark compared to everybody else in the family. He looks like my dad's father, who was indigenous and indigenous from Mexico. Totally, I would say that he was pure indigenous. And grandma was very white, and greenish eyes, right? So my dad is mixed, totally mixed, tall guy, and my brother came out very dark as my grandpa. So my mom calls him the black dog, and we grew up hearing her calling him the black dog, and like, oh, poor my son, he's so dark, right? So the standards of beauty is what makes this topic difficult, right? Because very often we just go by what society says, right? So now it is a fact that when people look at other people, right, when we are sighted, we look at someone that is quote unquote pretty, beautiful, right? That someone that is beautiful and is all clean and looking quote unquote beautiful captures people's attention, right? So you look at this person right away, and then either guys or girls are interested in that girl and that guy, right? But if this person is, say, beautiful, that is a beautiful girl, but then you look at her that she has messy hair, I don't know, she smells, and I don't know, the shoes don't look clean or whatever, people right away tend to stay away, right? Now, if we look at someone that is handsome or pretty or whatever, or you meet someone and you say like, oh, such lady, she was older, but she looks so beautiful. She smells so good. And the guy had beautiful cut hair, right? Clean and cut hair, whatever. But he's not handsome at all, right? He's physical, I don't know, he's not handsome, right? But then when you look at him and then you go like, oh, he smells so good, whatever, his hair is so nice. He even has his manicure. And then as you start getting people, you stop looking at the physical appearance because you got the opportunity to talk to this person, and find out who or she is, and then you just go from there. You don't care much about if someone is beautiful or not, right? No. So what about when you were born totally blind, right? When you were born totally blind, and once you go blind, it's a little different, and I'll tell you why, right? So when someone is born totally blind, and I'm going to share this based on what my totally blind friends have shared with me, or the ones that were totally blind, and what I have seen and what I hear from people, is that either parents ignore um, the children, and they say like, oh, my kid is just going to be a normal kid, quote unquote normal. He's going to be treated like everybody else in the family, right? And the kid, either the daughter or the son, they grow up just doing whatever, because the parents decided that they are just going to be normal kids, right? But what parents forget is to actually get involved in a lot of the description and the visual description that we need to learn, or we learn as when we are born. When we are born sighted, we learn by looking at other people. We learn by seeing what's going on around us. We learn by what we see on TV nowadays, and TV and magazines, books before. I don't know, just by looking at others, right? We just hear conversations, we just know, and we know what's going on. But what about when the baby, when you have a baby that was born blind, and you don't actually have the take the time to describe colors and what matches and what doesn't match, right? Even though nowadays it doesn't really, you can wear whatever, orange with yellow, and I don't know, purple with blue and whatever, because that is the fashion. But there are look there are social settings where you actually have to wear specific matching clothes, matching outfits. For example, job interviews, right? When you just go to the school, and parents, they're just going to the other extreme, doing everything for the kid, letting the kid supposedly to become quote unquote just be a normal kid, or doing everything for the kid so the blind kid doesn't struggle. And this also happens when we start going blind later in life, where you have family members, who parents, moms, even husbands, wives, who they just want to do everything for the blind family member, the one that just experienced vision loss. Now you just you pick their outfits, and I know of people that they actually shave the husband. I know someone. I just found one of my friends from Mexico. She lives around here, and the dad went blind 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and he's an older guy, not old. He's about 67. Uh, that's not old at all, especially nowadays that we get a lot of centenarians, right? Because of the advance in science and technology, we are living longer. So this guy, the mom actually shaves him, bathes him, takes him to the restroom in the house. She actually feeds him in the mouth. And many parents actually do that with kids, right? Now, I I mean, I cannot imagine how it is to have a kid, a baby that was born blind. I mean, I don't know. I have mentioned that once you have a kid and people ask, what do I do? My baby was born blind. I go like, remember that the kid is a kid. It's a baby. It's your son. It's a child, right? The blindness is something else that is there, but don't forget that this is a kid. So this is when I actually kind of disagree with most people. And whoever that knows Anna, and Blind with a Vision, that I go against whatever. I talk about those topics that people don't want to talk about it, and that many people question about the blind behavior and things that we actually do, those blind mannerisms that from my point of view have to do a lot with families, starts at home, parents, whoever raised the kid, not teaching the kid. And as we go blind, not telling us, like, don't do that. We start, because of the lack of sight, we start making, I don't know, like looking down or just moving the leg a lot. I remember my ex, I told him, if you see me dressing as a clown or wearing something that doesn't match and is not something that looks good, and I'm moving funny and I'm actually just, I don't know, doing something weird, please let me know. And I remember we went to the store and we standing in line, and I just felt that he kicked my leg, and I almost kind of, bended my leg. I go like, what's going on? And he go like, you told me to remind you if you're like doing those blind mannerisms that I seen with your blind friends. He goes, we're standing here and you just moving your leg like, like back, just back and forth. He go like, no one does that. And I remember talking to my retina specialist and mentioning that, and he laughed and he goes, yeah, it's because you don't have any more remaining sight to actually focus your mind on a visual while you wait, because that's what we humans do. We people do, like you're looking at the cashier that is helping somebody else, you're just looking at people that is passing by. But now with the lack of sight, you're not able to do that, right? So your mind starts doing something else. And this is what parents don't actually keep in mind, that we actually need all the visuals. And I don't know why there is not the emphasis on actually teaching the kids colors, clothes, what goes with what. Even if he's just telling a kid, a teenager, you know what, son? Jeans, just jeans with any t-shirt color will always look good. Even maybe you want to look a little better. Even jeans with a nice casual shirt will look good, right? With nice shoes or with sneakers, I don't know, tennis shoes, you're always gonna look good, right? Now, if you are very dark and you like dark brown, maybe this is not gonna match if you want to look, I don't know, not I don't know, just all brown, right? I'm talking about my brown people. I have never liked brown, right? And I'm not dark, but I have never liked brown, right? If you're a little brown and you were all brown, because I know people, blind people, that told me like, I'm wearing these brown pants and brown t-shirt, and then you're gonna look all brown. You have to make a little contrast, right? So how come? Why is it that parents, family members are not actually talking to their teaching their children about, how physical appearance is um, improved? If you are not the most beautiful person, whatever, it doesn't even matter. But with the personal hygiene, right? I'm not just talking about being pretty or handsome or ugly, whatever. I'm talking about personal hygiene, right? So now, before I mention the personal hygiene and how this really, really will help, and we need to learn tips and tricks, because from my point of view, we do have limitations that when we are not able to see, right? Now, families are not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, even when we go blind later in life, by actually just mentioning, do you know what's going, the fashion is now this. This is what I see people wearing. I ask friends, please tell me what is the color for hair right now. What are the haircuts that are in fashion? What do you see out there? What are the clothes? What are people matching nowadays? Is it true that people now just, they have whatever colors that, because I'm into the whole matching. Right now, I'm wearing this red off the shoulder, long, kind of transparent, over the shoulder, red top. I have my red lipstick, which I don't even know if it looks okay, because it's one of those lipsticks that is, is waterproof. And I don't know if my hair looks okay, but so we always need someone kind of tell us. But although I do have comments about not everyone in the family knows. Now, why do I say on the title that what you, family, and others should know about it? Because those others are rehab programs, institutions for the blind. Again, they only push the whole white cane and become independent, and you just have to get out there and you have to learn accessible technology, no mental health services, and not really classes on how to teach a blind kid the whole visuals about physical appearance and personal hygiene. Yeah, here and there they have these workshops where they teach you how to wash your hands and how you have to wash your hands for the whole time that you sing the happy birthday, and how to fold money and how to do these things. But what about those things that are important? Honestly, I swear to you, I promise you that a lot of sighted people kind of, we already know that sighted, the visual world, they have these stereotypes, legends, myths, misconceptions about the blindness, right? This is true. This is something ancestral, right? The idea that someone blind is a beggar because of what we see in the Bible, we read in the Bible, and what we have heard throughout the centuries, that blind people beg for money out on the street, and they did, and they still do in some locations. When I go to Mexico, I see a lot of blind people asking for money, selling gum and candy, and I mean, they're kind of dirty and their clothes are ripped and whatever, and there are comments that they do it on purpose so people feel sorry for them so they can get more money. Could be the case, but that is the idea. So when people see a blind person not looking, quote unquote, clean, and even if the person is someone has a nice physical, is beautiful, but it's not clean and smells and has bad breath, whatever. They don't say like, oh yeah, what a dirty person. They go like, oh, poor blind person, right? They see someone sided and not clean and whatever and smelly. They don't go poor person, go like, oh, he stinks, nasty, right? But if it's someone blind, they go like, oh yeah, it's because of the lack of sight, which we know that we don't have to have sight to actually look clean, right? I'm gonna check and see if I have people here. And then, hi, Trevor. Good evening. Amy, stop by. Hi, Aaron. Everyone is good here. Let me see. Hi, Margie. All right. So, for you guys that just arrived, I don't know if you've been here listening to me. This is Anna. You guys know that uh, I guess my YouTube channel, Blind with a Vision, is a bilingual channel. And if anyone can let me know if you can hear me because I'm wearing my left AirPod. Uh, and I know that one of my first English videos that I did on these Thriving Blind segments, my hair was all straight down, and I was wearing both of my AirPods, and my hair was covering my AirPods, and my sound sounds so muffled, horrible. So now I'm wearing just my left AirPod in my left ear, and I'm wearing these long gold, it's long, big, kind of halfway hoop golden earrings. My hair is kind of curls. I tried to define my curls today. And I have my makeup and I don't know, my eyebrows. Amy kind of fixed my eyebrows today and she did my eyeshadow with a little sparkle kind of glitter on top. And I did my mascara. She did my eyeliner this time. I did my powder, whatever, and I have my lipstick is red like my top. So hopefully, hopefully I look okay. I smell good. I have perfume, right? So just to summarize, from my point of view, and I was just gonna say that here on Blind with a Vision, we talk about those topics that nobody else. I mean, those topics that actually people think about it, but nobody else wants to say it out loud. Just like Trump. He says a lot of things that other people think about Mexicans, but nobody else has the courage to say it. Yes, I just said it. So I do have the courage to say it because a lot of those stereotypes affect the blind community, even the family, right? I don't understand why some blind people, some family that I have met, don't tell their blind daughter and blind son that they need to clean themselves, right? So let me share with you a story that I want to share. When I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, and then I was depressed, I met this blind couple, right? And they told me about Braille Institute, and I did call Braille Institute, and a lady came to pick me up. So when I arrived to Braille Institute, I remember having my braces, I had my long curls, my makeup, my high heels, and dressing up like, the 20-year-old that I was. And we got to the Braille Institute, and the lady had two daughters that were twins that were totally blind, and they were in Japan studying. And they were 20 years old, the way, like me. And I remember just listening to her in the car, but crying. And when she was telling the story, I go like, so yeah, It seems like we go blind, but we can still do a lot of things, right? Listen to that. Her daughters are in Japan studying, whatever. So we walk into the institute, and I start looking around. You guys, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. I set up my alarm with Alexa. Alexa, stop. All right. So I look around, and you guys, I started crying and crying and crying. I look around, and I saw a lot of blind people walking with their white cane, kind of getting lost. They were not clean. Their clothes didn't match. They seemed like wrinkled people. Some of the clothes look even with bleach stains. Their hair were greasy because I did go into the cafeteria to wait for the lady. Because the lady that was gonna, I don't know, do an assessment, whatever, was seeing somebody else. So she took me to the cafeteria, and I started looking at everyone. I had 20 sides straight ahead. And I was crying and crying, seeing people that they were getting lost, and they were, having some blind mannerisms. But what really look at was that. Then they introduced me to this Mexican girl. There weren't many people that spoke Spanish, and they took me to this girl. Must have been, I don't know, like about 30 years old, and Mexican girl, and I became friends with her. And it was not until a few years that I had the courage to tell her. I never had the courage to ask, how come your teeth are so kind of black? I mean, your family, that's the first thing that you see when you talk to people. Their face, their eyes, their mouth, when people is talking. And all her front teeth, they were yellowish, honestly, no offense. And they were black on the front. And I always remember telling my mom, I can't believe the mom and no one is taking her to the dentist. What's going on here? And she used to wear pants, jeans, with high heels, but socks, like thick socks, different colors, green and whatever. And I go like, what's going on here? Her eyebrows were bushy. I can go on and on and on. And then I was going to college and found one other girl that I met at Braille, and we became friends. Remember going to pick her, we used to go with my ex to just pick her up every Friday. She would just be ready out there. And there were times she was cute, very light skin, long hair. And one day we picked her up, and she had blonde hair. I mean, it matched her skin, right? And my ex just, after we got home, he go like, Anna, you just, I just have to tell you this because you told me to say that. Your friend has blonde hair, but her eyebrows are so very dark, black. I mean, I can't believe the sisters who are very, into fashion and all of that, the older and the youngest one, are not taking her to the eyebrow salon to do her eyebrows or do it. And this is not the only time that I have seen. Every time we pick her up and she's wearing dress to go, we used to go to the opera and theater in Los Angeles. She goes, her, how do you call those pantyhose? They were ripped in the back, and it's so visible and things like that. And then we used to go to the restaurant, and she used to, honestly, someone on Facebook mentioned this. Someone on Facebook mentioned, if you're gonna do this topic, talk about how the blind put their white cane on the table. And our white cane, we go into the restroom, and then especially if you go to the school for the blind, in the Anaheim Braille, guys have told me you go in there with your cane, and guys just pee on the floor, and there you are with your white cane and putting that on the table, right? And she would just be playing with the rolling tip or the end of the table, and then she put her nails and her teeth, kind of picking the food out. Honestly, you guys, those are things that, as someone that is blind, a kid that is blind, you were never able to see. And as we go blind, and then we start forgetting how it is to see, and we start just spending years being blind. Those are things that we kind of we start forgetting, and those are things that we don't really think about. My question is, my point is that we need to know about it, but who do we learn from? Family members, rehab programs, schools. Why don't they actually stop being afraid of the whole blindness and actually incorporate um, classes or sessions or things like that. No one teach someone, I don't know, they don't have any. I know that there is blind people out there that they're doing the whole makeup, but even blind YouTubers here that have videos about makeup, they forgot to do description for the blind, whatever, right? And I know that having makeup is not critical as long as we're clean, right? So what about the physical hygiene? Physical hygiene, we already know that physical hygiene keeps us healthy, right? But it also makes us look good. And I was reviewing the history of physical um, um, personal hygiene, and I was reading like in the 1600s is well known that some famous person, he used to shower twice a year, right? Twice a year. And I go like, oh my gosh, my sister from Mexico, she married when she was 15 and then she came to the States several years ago. We really didn't see her for, I mean, we didn't see how she was growing up as a married 15-year-old. But we were laughing because she told me, can you believe that my father-in-law only takes a shower once a year? I go like, my gosh, what about the wife when they make love? I ask her, and she goes, well, they just make mud. But it's funny, right? But I was reading that in the 1600s, people didn't really take showers as much, and they in the 1700s, like the rich, the wealthy, used to keep clean by applying, I don't know, some oils and changing their garments, right, or clothes. I mean, poor people didn't. And then we go into the 1800s, and we start getting the whole thing about, they found all the thing about bacteria and how it would affect health, right? And then with this, they start selling things to remain healthy, and shampoos, and later on in the 1900s, right, in the 20th century, the whole revolution about perfumes and soap. And they start making money out of it, and they start announcing this everywhere, advertising, right, radio and everywhere, and people got obsessed by looking clean, right? Nowadays, in this century, I was also reading something that my doctor was telling me. Do not use too much soap on your skin, Anna, because that is drying out your skin, right? Stop believing everything that they say, right? Because my skin was kind of dry because I take bubble baths. I do all the time. She goes, that's why you're dry, your skin, your skin is dry, right? But anyway, the whole thing about staying clean and using perfume and all of that became into the whole advertisement on television, on, a guy wearing their deodorant, and on the side having a beautiful girl smelling, and the idea of like, oh, if I look good, I would have a beautiful girl like that, right? Or the typical girl that is wearing, I don't know, beautiful silky, having beautiful silky hair because of the shampoo and all of that. So a lot of those visuals, even though we the blind hear from sighted people, it's not something that you can see, right? And then we hear it and we see it, but it has more impact when it comes to the actually sight, when it comes to you through sight, right? So a sighted kid is able to see all those things, a teenager, right? As a younger adult, and later on, you just see everyone. But what about the blind kid that parents don't even take the time to do that, right? And then what I hear from people from all over the place is that I get messages here from people like from Central South America, and they go like, "Oh, Anna, my mom told me that your teeth look very, very white." Yes, because I bleached my teeth years ago. I did. And those are things that, I mean, they should be taking overall, taking their kids to the dentist. But if you are blind and you were never able to see, and no one has told you that your teeth are not looking very nice, I don't think you're even going to think about it unless you're curious and always using your imagination, as some of us, or you're proactive and you just think about it. Nowadays, there is really, guys, there is no really excuse for not, well, I shouldn't say this because there is people that they don't even have money for soap, right? And that is one of the things that I always mention here in Blind with a Vision. When you live in different in other countries where there is no money, and no one wants to employ us, and we depend on the family. I mean, how do you buy perfume? How do you buy, I don't know, things that make you look good? I don't know. But nowadays, I was gonna say, with the internet, and spending so many hours downloading accessible technology or accessible applications, you can spend a few hours during the week to actually read about personal hygiene. We already know that the personal hygiene, keep us healthy, but it also has a huge impact on your physical appearance. One of my friends from school during the university time, this Russian girl, she called me one day and she goes, Anna, I actually went to the dentist and I was in the waiting area, waiting. And I look at the dentist assistant and it was this Latino guy that, Anna, no offense, but he was so ugly. So ugly. And I go, you are so mean. What was ugly about him? I don't know. He was just a little chubby and dark. I go, thanks. Thanks a lot. But she goes, but wait, I actually went in there and he was so nice, so polite. But Anna, he smelled so good. And I look at his nails and he had his manicure with the clear nail polish that guys use. And his eyebrows were so well trimmed. She goes, I'm sure that he goes to do his eyebrow threading. Many guys have the unisex. And when I go and do my eyebrow threading, I see a lot of guys, Middle Easterner guys, doing their eyebrows there. They also do their eyebrows with the eyebrow threading. I don't think they do the waxing. But she goes, and his hair, the guy, he had this very nice clean cut hair. And honestly, I am not liking him. She actually gave him her phone number and she dated him, after she told me that he was so ugly. My point with this whole thing is that when being clean, having nice, whatever, if you have long hair, I love guys with long hair. I always did. If your hair is going to be long, nice, right? Healthy. I mean, nowadays it's not only about shampoo, it's about some conditioner, some conditioning, some oil. There are oils, and you go like, how do I know what? Internet, do what I do. Go to the nail salon and ask. Go to the makeup or go to the beauty supply. I go to Sally's Beauty Supply and I go like, so what is a popular oil for hair after I shower and everything? I have this oil that is papaya and that's really, I've been using it for several months and it really helped kind of fix my hair after the 2020 when I was in the hospital for 17 days and I didn't eat for 3 months. My hair got very damaged and it recovered with a lot of the oils that I've been using. So nowadays there is no excuse. Now it's just that we stop. This is a message to you guys, to my blind and low vision people, right? And I'll go quickly on this so we can actually go and read messages and see if you guys have comments and tips. And we go through a few list of tips. This segment actually requires a second part where we actually just talk about all the tips and tricks on different areas, right? So I guess for you, that if you're totally blind, low vision, I think what happens is what my ex used to tell me. I remember him telling me, looking around. We used to join this. I joined this club that was called New Visions, and that's where I start seeing all these blind people and gathering and celebrating and being happy and just enjoying life, even if you were blind, right? And I remember him telling me one day, he goes, Anna, I know your side is getting worse, but I don't want you to never forget that not because you're not able to see, others are not able to see. Other people see. He goes, I see so many of these people, their shoes are dirty. It's like they never wash those shoes. They don't clean their shoes. It's like they don't brush their teeth. They smell. I don't know if the girls don't shave their legs, but they're hairy. He told me. I remember him telling me, especially if they're Mexicans. He said, "They're. I don't know. They. I mean, they don't. I understand, but you guys, there are for girls. There are tips and tricks for us to learn how to shave your underarms, your legs. I mean, I do it all the time. Even your, over there, your pubic hair. Honestly, there are tips and there are ways for you to do it where you don't have to ask someone. I mean, that would be embarrassing if you ask someone, hey, can you shave my pubic hair, right? Never do it with a razor. It's painful, right? It is painful. You don't want to do it with that. I mean, they sell these little tiny razors for females. I mean, and when we got the period, menstruation, and on top of that, you don't really floss. One of the things about, we're talking about personal hygiene. I mean, come on, you guys. We don't need to see. We the blind know more than anyone. We know that we don't need sight to actually stay clean. Uh, we know that. Now, what we do know is that the lack of sight and not being able to see how to match and whatever, but we got to make sure that we use our voice and ask questions. Be curious. Ask others, even if they get annoyed. If you don't have internet, ask others. So what's going on? What's the fashion? What is it? And at the end, you find your own fashion. And if this is something weird, that others go like, what? But when you're a child, I mean, I had a client who told me that, I had a client for a year when after I did my whole practicum, he was 17. He was very traumatized because he was bullied because of the way he used to dress up, and he was not blind. He was traumatized. Kids would just bully him for years. They would even take off his shoes and they would pee in his shoes, and that's why he was having therapy. I've heard from blind people that message me on YouTube that they have been bullied too because they never knew how to match their clothes, and other kids, sighted kids, um, pick on them. And those are things that parents really should keep in mind. And for us, if you're someone that is 19, 20, 25, 30, whatever, and you are just getting into the whole blindness, this is a great area for us to actually come up with a whole business if nobody else wants to hire us. Create something with the whole blindness and start creating a business where you actually offer services for the blind, doing these workshops and whatever, and start charging for that, right? Now, I think I know that there is all, we people are people, right? I always say here that we are very diverse because we're just people like anybody else. We don't have the sight, or we have low, just partial sight. Uh, but we know that there is within diversity, there is people that they don't have that curiosity, or they don't have that, they don't even think about it, or once we're not able to see, we become kind of careless about it. And then when you are older and then you go blind, you think you have to have the sight, you need sight to actually do those things that you used to do. But no, all you need is someone that knows how to do it, and you need to start asking. That's why I say that is critical for us to connect with somebody else that is blind, and we can exchange tips. Right now, I'm going to mention a few tips that I have, but I'm going to check and see if anyone here. Hi, Lauren. Let me see if anyone has questions. Okay, Trevor, thank you for letting me know. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, someone missed. Okay. Okay, I don't see any questions. Let me see. Okay, so I don't see any. Sorry if you're able to see my hand on the screen. I don't see any questions or any comments. It would have been great if you guys ask questions. It's almost time for me to start going into the last part of the video. I don't know. What's your opinion on this? What's your opinion? I'm sure that if I have a client that is blind, and the client is sharing with me about his or her concerns about this topic, just the way people do on through my email, and that's why I'm talking about this topic, the whole situation about parents never taking the time to really describe it, right? I totally understand someone that is blind, even though I was not able to be to I was not born blind. Maybe someone that is was born blind, I don't know, Aaron. I know that you have some sight and that makes a huge difference, but maybe you guys will argue, say like, Anna, you cannot say that you are right, or you know how it is to be born blind, uh, because you were not born blind. No, I was not. But the fact that I've been blind for years and I have lived the whole situation about wanting to wear something and wanting to apply my makeup and wanting to do my eyeliner and wanting to just do a lot of stuff and wondering a lot of the visuals and being doubtful about it and not having anyone at home or someone. Now, which this takes me to one huge important thing. I've been saying that the family is critical, but the fact that there is people out there that even sighted people, they're not into fashion, they're not into matching, they're not into doing their eyebrows, they're not even into shaving, even if they're females, they're not even into dyeing their hair and doing highlights or into they're not it's not you don't have they don't there is not the there are not many guys fathers who actually went and did their manicure and pedicure and they I don't know bleach their teeth whatever. And if you happen to be a kid from this family or you have a husband that was never into all those things and yeah he washed his hands and whatever and he bathed but it was not someone that was into the whole physical hygiene. If you go blind and you're blind, well you're going to be born in that family and that's why they're not going to be teaching you. I'm not just saying that they're not teaching you all these things and they help you when you go blind later in life because they just don't want to do it or they don't understand the blindness. It's just because it's also part of how the family is. What I would like for them these people to do is to understand that maybe the son or the daughter or the wife and the husband that now is blind maybe they always were they would like as a kid they want to be someone who want to know what's going on and decide if they want to do it. Now it is okay just to take a shower and shave and normal and brush your teeth and whatever. You don't have to go all over. I'm not saying that you have to spend tons of money on this, but come on, showering and trimming your nails, right? I know that if you have diabetes, you need to go to a place where they actually do it for you, but trimming your toenails, if you don't have the money for manicure, pedicure, it's critical. Now, I believe, and I'm going to say this out loud, and I might be wrong, but I believe the fact that someone is blind or is born blind and someone that is just blind for many years and whatever, actually, it gets tiring having to always ask or always research or always be on top of what to keep up the whole visual world. It is tiring. But what many blind people do is that they just don't even think that others are looking, that you smell, right? And I'm telling you because I have had coworkers here in locations where they have asked, these are blind people, and they ask them to go home and change. And I hear from managers saying, like, Anna, so and so, it looks like she just got up and came to work. Even the guy that looked like that. Someone from Peru yesterday message once told my announcing this topic, and he go like, Anna, I actually just gathered with whatever blind people. Oh, they had some kind of weekend of goalball, something related to goalball. He goes, these blind people, most of the guys, they use the same clothes the whole weekend, and they smell really bad. I mean, I think it's just not caring. I think that happens a lot in the blind community, and we do need tips and tricks for shaving. I give you a mail. I'm sure that you learn from many of you learn how to do your cut your nails if you don't have the money. There are tips and tricks. How to do your nails. I do my nails, but it's messy when you're blind. No, I go and do my manicure and pedicure, but when I do it, it's messy, but you can still do it. You can still do it with tips, right? We're gonna do this with the makeup segment. Um, the hair as well. I guess for overall, one tip that I can tell you is just always take showers. Jeans always go good with anything, you guys, with any t-shirt, with any shirt for guys. Um, Shoes have to be clean. Changing your socks. Go to the dentist, you guys. If you have insurance here, you have go to the dentist. Uh, use dental floss, right? There are videos that teach you on YouTube how to use dental floss. There is a spray that you can buy. Go to the health store. It's called the silver spray, and you wash and then you spray it. And I promise you that that kills bacteria, and that really takes away any smell, unless it comes from your stomach because you have some liver issues or something. I know that's the situation. Now they have people. A lot of people just brush their teeth and they don't use the tongue cleaner. They sell this. You go to the pharmacy or whatever, you Walmart, whatever. I get this from the pharmacy. Tongue cleaners is a little thing that not only you brush your teeth, but you clean your tongue, and it cleans it very well. Toothpaste depends on what toothpaste you're using. Lotion, your skin. That you don't want your skin to look all dry, right? And perfumes. Well, if you get the good ones, they could be expensive, but they sell little tiny ones with different ones if you use the brand perfumes. And you know, depending on what location you're gonna go to, there is a different way of dressing. You just have to find out about the occasion. What are they going to be wearing? If you're going to the opera, the theater, right? You're going to go to a job interview, and yeah, I guess that's really what I was wanted to say. Now, a lot of these institutions for the blind, they did not invest any time and money on offering these services to help. Um, I don't know, people that is going blind, went blind, or teenagers. I think there needs to be more information about this. But anyway, I want to check again and see if any of you have a comment. Let me see. I'm gonna. Hi, hi, Laura. Uh, I see reading Laura. She says she's learning a lot. She just subscribed to my channel. She's doing this. She wrote this in Spanish, and she has two blind people in the family, and they're celebrating their birthday. And oh, there's their birthday. Laura, te mando saluditos y feliz cumpleaños para las personas con discapacidad visual en casa. Ojalá que te reúnas con nosotros a las 4 de la tarde. También vamos a tener este tema en español. I'm asking Laura, saying happy birthday to Laura's family members who are blind. You're welcome. Laura, she says, thank you for so much valuable information. Let me see. Okay, Trevor has a comment here that is a great comment to wrap it up. Trevor says it's always a great idea to start with a fresh shower, in the morning. Yeah, if you're a guy shaving and washing, and don't think that because you're a guy, you cannot go to do your manicure and just ask for the clear top on your nails, right? They cut your cuticle around it, and they just do. I mean, that is real. I always, when I could see, I thought it was really nice. I found guys handsome when they did that, right? Uh, and I mean, it's not only that you stay healthy when you practice um, personal hygiene, and that helps your physical appearance, but you smell. People don't want to be around you. Honestly, you guys, I used to work at Braille Institute, and I saw a lot of the blind the way I saw them the first time when I went there. I think once we're not able to see, or when we're not able to see, we don't realize how much the side. How do I say this so it doesn't sound bad? I think we, even when we go blind, we stop comprehending, understanding, or keeping in mind that we are judged by how we look. And I disagree on the whole thing, how we're viewed because we have a white cane and a cane, because that's who we are, that's what we have, and that's not something that we can change. But we are able to take showers unless you have another disability. Then it's not going to be either an excuse for the caregivers to not do their job and help, right? But I think that's what I have seen a lot. And one of the things that happens, Trevor, a lot is that when we are out there, and very often when they see that you look quote unquote okay, they go like, "Oh, I mean, don't we all get a lot of questions? Wow, your hair looks so great. Oh, who helped you pick that blouse? You really know how to dress up. Who did your makeup? Who did your nail polish?" And it's because of the blindness, right? They even get surprised, and it's not that I'm gonna get proud because these people are amazed because I'm looking good, whatever. But it's just that tells you about their mentality, right? So on top of being out there and having these people's attitude because of the blindness, on top of that, they see that you smell and you're not clean and you have bad breath and your hair is messy and your clothes is like you, like we say in Spanish, like you took it out of the donkey's ass, the donkey's ass. That's how we say it in Spanish. You're like, he's wearing a shirt that looked like he just took it out of the, pull it out from the donkey's ass, right? Like it's all wrinkled. I've seen that. We need to learn more about this. We need to change that mentality even among the blind. This is not helping the blind community, and they tend to believe that if all of us the blind are like that, right? Now, I have to stop here and say that I initiated this whole thing talking about beauty, physical, appearance, and having that idea that when we say physical appearance has to do with beauty, but no, personal hygiene will really complement your beauty, right? Because at the end, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I always say and love that beauty is in the ear of the beholder, right? We don't need to see people to like someone. People always ask, how do you, the blind, how can you like someone and if you don't even know how they look? Because we actually, beauty for us is the real beauty, right? When we start talking to someone and we talk to them. But if we smell someone that, him or the girl, the guy that smells really bad, and we just know that he or she's not clean, we don't like the person, honestly. We don't. Most of us will not. So we're not dumb, we're not stupid, right? So that is really, really, well, that's all we have to do, start with that. And now if you want to really go into the whole looking great as a guy, what matches, what that doesn't match, it is critical. We should have a segment on that. I mean, if you're very short and you have the apple figure, I don't know if you want to be wearing, I don't know, whatever clothes, right? I never like stuff with clothes that have stripes. Never. Nothing with stripes. Solid colors for Anna, please. Flowers, not as much. Maybe some dresses that have very little. So very often I see blind people. This is because the families just gave them t-shirts, whatever, with these huge logos on the front. I know guys do that, but no, even the girls, like huge, huge logos and things like, what the heck? What is she wearing? Because they never got any classes about it. I don't know. I don't know. Let me check last time, and then we are just really going to go. Okay. So Aaron was born blind. He has glaucoma, has some sight, and he's blind because he's blind. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. I wish he was here. He's my friend from Spain, Madrid. Merely. You know, Merly Ortega is asking, what is the thing about makeup and can you do a demonstration? I actually do apply my simple makeup myself. I'm sure it's not perfect, right? So don't believe any YouTuber like this YouTuber from UK and some blind YouTuber from here that they say that they can do their makeup blindly perfectly. I disagree with that. Makeup is one of those things that some products you're going to be able to actually do it, and you'll do it fine. Especially if you look for some products the way I do that are accessible. I do have my list of accessible makeup products. Uh, and even for guys, things, right? Things that you want to use. Um, and we can do a live video on this. I'll do that so you guys can ask questions, and I can do my makeup in front of you guys. We can totally do that. I don't mind if you see my imperfections. I'm getting close to the screen. No, my pimples. I have to say that I don't have any pimples. I do. I don't. Um, but I can do that. For the makeup, the easiest thing, Merly, is wear lipstick, and you already look different. Lipstick makes a huge difference. And if you're not into the whole lipsticks like me, I'm into the red lipsticks and hot pink and things like that. I mean, they have lip glosses that come with different colors, like they kind of tinted red and whatever, right? And your powder, you can always wear powder, right? Um, Foundation that is a powder, it doesn't have to be the liquid. It's quickly, you just do it. And they have all the, we'll do that. We'll do that. But I have to say that lipstick is something that you should be wearing. Uh, Trevor is asking, do you, if I think that people is more scared to talk about it? He remembered that when he went to school, people were more forward about it. I mean, I don't know how it is in UK. I believe that nowadays that has changed. People is really afraid with all the thing about being racist and being biased, prejudice, and people being judged because, but everyone claims to be inclusive and they're not. They're not. So we also should be talking about it. For me, I give myself permission to talk about these topics. But people is really afraid to actually, overall, people is afraid of the blindness, the disability, the fear. There is fear. And even family members don't want their family members, their blind loved ones, to actually feel bad. Oh, if I tell him to do this, oh, she's gonna feel bad. Can you tell her that she has this unibrow, like Frida Kahlo? Come on, you guys, tell your daughter that she has a unibrow and take her to the eye salon, to the eyebrow salon, so they can do introduce the daughter to do it. That is one of the most difficult things for us to actually do our eyebrows. I did my eyebrows last week, and I just used my little tweezers and I took out some that I had. I did those this morning. I go like, I hope I didn't ruin my eyebrows. Let me see the other question. So, Marilyn Ortega, you can do your own manicure and that yeah, it is do. I mean, we can do it. It is messy and it takes a while, but you actually can do it. I do it myself too. There are tips and tricks that we'll share within the makeup thing. Uh, my mom never told me that I didn't need to wear makeup, but I know there is a lot of parents that they tell their blind daughters a lot of those things, and that is because of what I mentioned, that you come from someone that makeup was not something that they never really. Well, I mean, I have friends who they don't wear makeup and they're sighted, nothing, and they always compliment like, oh, Anna, you're so brave wearing makeup, whatever. But for sighted people, no one judges them because they don't wear makeup. But when you're blind, they go like, "Oh, poor blind girl. She doesn't do it because she's blind, right?" Let me see what else. Let me see what else. You're welcome, Margie. Okay. Well, let me see. Sorry if my hand is on the screen. Mm. All right, you guys. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I hope this was a little helpful. I hope you can share with someone that is sighted people. I hope that next time I keep getting better and better on these live videos. This is something that I'm actually doing. Yeah, I've been doing this for a few weeks, and I have done like videos before, but I always waited for someone to help me, and I go like, that's not gonna happen. I'm doing it myself. I hope that this makes sense, and why not? I'll wait for you to join us next Friday. We're gonna be talking about dining etiquette, right? How to eat, tips and tricks and strategies to eat when we are blind, and everything that has to be with dining home, at the restaurant, reunions, when you go to those nice fancy dinners. And I mean, sometimes it is embarrassing to do it blindly, right? So tips and tricks. I'll promise that for that, we'll just go into tips and examples instead of going into the whole story like this one. This one will have a second part because those tips really are important, right? Are important. One tip, big tip, for the girls: do not do your eyebrows yourself because you might ruin your eyebrows, right? And there are tips to shave for the guys, right? Anyway, thank you for joining me. And if you speak Spanish, we're gonna be having this room at 4 p.m. Yeah, at 4 p.m. Same topic. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining. Adios. Love you guys.